Hello. Maybe you are wondering why is the talk entitled like this? Well, it all started back in 2017 when me and other two backend developers were facing a challenge, and that was choosing a front-end framework. At that time, we didn't have any kind of front-end developer in the team, so you can imagine how this went. But first, let's start with an introduction. Hi, I'm Bogdan Hotea. I'm a senior software engineer at Nagaro. I consider myself as a confident Java developer, which also dabbles into front-end technologies. As an individual, I'm coming from Maramuresh. I enjoy playing basketball and tennis.
Hello, my name is Dejan Nichsici. I'm a front-end developer at Nagaro, and obviously I was not part of the 3 Java developers that started, uh, uh, that had to choose a framework for a new front-end framework. Um, I'm a bit nervous, yeah. Okay. Um, we will tell you a story about our journey of choosing a new framework for our project. But first, we will start with presenting our company, presenting the project context so you know how everything ties together, our way of tackling it, and the solution we chose and how and what we learned from it.
So, as Dejan mentioned, we would like to share with you a few words about our company. So, Nagaro is a global IT service provider, founded in 1996. We are more than 5,000 colleagues in over 28 offices around the world. We are a non-hierarchical company focusing on a caring culture. And we strongly believe that we do our best to provide tailored solutions to our clients.
At the local level, we have a really cool central office. We go in amazing team buildings that binds us as a great team. And we do fun stuff at the office, and also we support the community by getting involved in local events. Enough about our company. Let's give a few words about our context.
Okay, so let's starting by understanding the status quo, and here I will tell you a few words about the context. Our client delivers educational services that empowers psychologists to create test items, complex test items. The purpose is to create a tool to be able to create those items. And to deliver it, we have built a set of components which are working together in a way of offering a what you see is what you get environment. By this, we have shortened the development and the deliveries of those items with more than 70%. But let's go a bit into details and see how our solution looked at that time. So we have a desktop application which enables you to create the test items. It was crafted in model-driven software development and contains an authoring model which gives you the power to generate representational model for a remote application platform. On the other hand, we have the platform, the web platform, which uses the items created in the desktop application and bundles them together in more complex test courses and serve it to the client, to the pupils, which are somehow the app clients. Okay, throughout this process, we found out some bottlenecks in our architecture. And the concerns were revolving around the front-end framework. And this was caused by a slow model generation, which got into a slow preview of the items. And the more complex the components have been, the more difficult was to customize them. So this brought us into the need of a change.
So in order to do that change, we first, in order to understand our process, first I would like to ask a few questions. How many of you are front-end developers or play around with JavaScript? Raise your hands. Okay, now keep your hands raised if you've ever had to choose a front-end framework for one of your projects. Okay? You guys probably know the struggle of choosing the right one for a front-end developer. Now imagine 3 back-end developers doing this. They would feel something like this. Like, what to choose? You choose Vue, you choose Angular, React, Ember. They are just words on a. After they went in depth and they chilled out a bit and thought about what they needed, they refined a bit the process, and they narrowed it down, which they asked a few questions, such as, what about Ember? It's a really strong framework with good routing systems.
Yeah, but the templating is tough to read and the framework is not so popular.
Well, Vue solves these issues by having known templating like HTML, and it's easy to learn and it's popular.
Well, Vue looks nice, but it lacks of company support, and the third-party libraries are not so many.
Well, that leaves us with Angular, which is a full-fledged framework that has a lot of modules that you can import and reuse. But at that time, in 2017, I believe Angular was at version number 4, Angular 4, and it wasn't such popular, and building a really complex application would increase the size, and we really needed the fast transfers and fast rendering. What about React?
What about React?
Well, React is a fast rendering, small-sized front-end library that allows you to create really customizable components that you can easily test using Jest and Enzyme. It has really good backing from Facebook, which provides solid documentation. And there are a lot of developers in the community, in the open source community, that are really involved in creating a lot of third-party libraries, which cuts down the development time and process. But most importantly, React was chosen because it matched our needs the best, which is a fast rendering tool for the front end.
Now, let's recap the challenges that we tackle. So we need a fast-performing web application. We also need a reliable data structure and a decreased timing in model generation. Now, let's get a bit into details and see what we did to get there.
So we started with the concept. We know what we needed to do. We needed to generate some data, interpret that set of data somehow, and then render them on the screen in a fast way that's easily responded, so the students don't get confused. Going deeper, we refined it to a from a technical standpoint. We needed something like this.
Okay, so when you work on already existing solution, you should definitely think about reuse what you have. So in this case, we think, okay, we should reuse the authoring model to generate the new representation model based on it. So we did that. Then we thought, okay, now we have a new representational model. How we serve it to the React application? Well, maybe we should build some REST endpoints. And we did that. And then, obviously, we created the React application, which should interpret and display the components that are served to it. But let's take a closer look to the new architecture. So now, as you see, as I already told you, we have used the authoring model and built up on in using Jackson to generate JSON. Then, on the platform size, we have created the REST endpoints that I told you about. And of course, we have built a powerful React application which is able to render components fastly. Now, let's get a closer look how a component will get rendered on the screen.
In order to understand the journey of our component, which represents only a leaf in a tree-like structure, which represents our item of tests that the psychologist builds in our desktop application, we can follow along our leaf component, which we took as an example as a simple button that gets it has a number of things. It has a common configuration which can be reused with other components, stuff like positioning on the page, font size, what border color, stuff like that, and also component-specific attributes which are interpreted specifically in the React components. All of those items are uploaded to our platform, which bundles multiple complex items into test courses and into tests, and that all the tests are bundled in the test course. This gives the possibility of reusing the same item in multiple tests. The platform is also used for collecting the data, tracking the student's movement, seeing if he's nervous, seeing how he reacts and stuff like that. Then it gets booted up in our browser in our React application. The React application has the following steps. It gets the data from the platform. It parses it recursively in the tree-like structure, interpreting each component like a sorter. And when you reach your component, let's return to our example, the button, you render the structure using the configuration, and you attach finite state machines because we have a finite state machine running in the browser, which is defined in our desktop application. And you insert image logic or any other component-specific requirements for that in order for it to work properly as in the requirements. Okay, and finally, it gets displayed at the position specified in the configuration with all the necessary attributes already there.
This button does not have position 1000.
Okay. Bogdan can talk more about some more complex components.
So let's get a bit deeper. Our first concern was will we be able to create a component as a rich text field with a complex set of requirements? So the component should be able to render as what you see is what you get field. It should also support highlighting. Maybe you are asking what is highlighting needed for. So think about a use case where the pupil is asked to do something like this. Please highlight 3 words that means an action. So we will record their highlights and we will give back to it the score based on them. So if he highlights or she highlights the proper words, we will give it the proper score. Going forward, in the next example, I would want to underline the power of React. So it gives you the possibility to reuse the components that you already created to build more complex ones. So in this case, we have built a table component which is able to render the table cells as rich text fields. And this gives us all the power that the rich text fields have. And of course, you're able to create an article-like table with a component, which also have a multiple select feature, which is good. Okay, on the third example, we have built, I want to mention something. So both the second and the third example, they are defined by the same React component. They just need different JSON. So they get different JSON, they display differently. And this component, it also has almost all the features that a standard spreadsheet has. It supports, it has a cell editor, it supports formula validation and calculations, and it also provides the possibility to render the cells as either text, either select one or combo boxes, or images. So yeah, I think this is all that I wanted to say about the component. And with this,
the key idea that we want for you to learn from this topic isn't about our project and how we render stuff dynamically on screen and what our clients' needs are or stuff like that. It's that if you have to choose a framework, you need to learn what what your requirements are, and choosing the right framework that's really good and appropriate for your needs.
so for us, it proved to be a good choice. Thank you.